Hi everyone, Petko here. Long time no see, friends. First of all, I would like to apologize for not being able to upload the past 2 months. It's been pretty much MDI for me. At least it was worth it. We qualified for the global finals, which will be played between 11th and 14th of July. You can upload a picture or image so you can guys follow the event on YouTube. This is going to be the first video in regards to Shadowlands Alpha, element of Shaman specifically, and we're going to talk about the basics, what have changed so far, the class itself looking new, what new things have been added, what has been changed, pretty much the fundamentals of 9.0 elemental Shaman. Now that's the first kind of video of the series that I'm planning to make. Hopefully you enjoyed, and without further ado, let's begin. So what is the first major change to the Shaman? Well, the first major change is obviously removing the Maelstrom and adding the mana back. Now that allows us to cast only our healing spells are impacted by that. So your DPS abilities will not require any mana usage. Now that's great, but then you might ask yourself, okay, well, if you don't generate Maelstrom during those abilities, then what do we get? There's a new ability, or rather passive, called Fulmination. Now what does Fulmination do? Is very simple. So every time you cast Lightning Bolt, or the overload of that Lightning Bolt has a chance to generate a Fulmination, right? And the max stacks is 8. Once you reach that 8 stack, or let's just say the further the stack go, the more powerful your Earth Shock will become. Now the next question is, okay, well, beforehand, I used to be able to cast Earth Shock on 60 Maelstrom, right? Or let's say an Earthquake on a 60 Maelstrom. Now in Alpha, that's not the case. At least for now. You can cast as many Earthquakes as you want without using any Maelstrom, because you don't have any Maelstrom. That's pretty neat, right? But there's a catch. Obviously, there's a catch. Now, those are not as powerful, although you can spam them as much as you want. But they're getting empowered by Fulmination. Now, Fulmination only empowers Earthshocks, not Earthquakes. Earthquakes are empowered by Chain Lightnings, right? That's not a cool thing. So, here's how it works. Generally, Earthquake has 3-second cast time. That's with the current passive haste I have, which is 12%, which is like, I would say, not as high. But I would assume when the patch comes closer to reality, which is like the release, or like let's say 9.01, the first tier of Shadowlands, I would assume that the haste values are going to be like 30-ish, 25, give or take, which is obviously very neat. And the cast time is going to be between 2.5 seconds and 2.7 in my opinion, depending on, again, haste values, trinket usages. We're not sure yet what would that be. So this is how it works. Every time, each time your Chain Lightning hits more than one target, the cast time of your Earthquake is reduced by 20%. And the damage of your next Earthquake is increased by X amount of percent. So that means it's very, very good if you are able to cast a Chain Lightning on 4 to 5 targets before you put your Earthquake, because you're going to have an instant Earthquake. That means Chain Lightning into Earthquakes and Chain Lightning into Earthquakes is going to be very, very powerful. Now that with a combination of Aftershock or Echoing Shock, which I'm going to be talking very briefly, can make a significant damage increase than just spamming Earthquakes, you know. The next big change I want to talk about is getting Spirit Walker Grace. Now that's something I've been talking since beginning of BFA. Shaman struggle the most when they burst AoE or single target, and there's something that you have to dodge or avoid any kind of targeted spell, right? Like let's say a skill shot in a way. You cannot really dodge without losing DPS, or maybe you could, but you still lose DPS, because when you have Fire Elemental up or Solar Elemental up, the more you move, the less DPS you're gonna do. So having Spirit Walker Grace is something that will obviously give us a huge DPS increase when the time comes. When we have to dodge something, Spirit Walker Grace will be very, very powerful. Now the mastery remains the same. In my opinion, as far as I know from now, mastery is still going to be as useless as in BFA. Things can change. We're still very early into the alpha, so don't take my information, because don't take what I tell you as 100%. And that's pretty much my own observation, my own research. So if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, right? That's not like somebody else is stating. That's my personal opinion, how I think. Now I want to mention something very, very important, and that's going to be the next other spell, which are the Totems, right? So we're getting Totems back. Currently, Elementor has only one totem, which is Healing Stream Totem, which is not as impressive, to be honest. We used to have a Searing Totem, but they removed it, and we only have now Healing Stream Totem, right? So that's not as powerful. If I have to compare it with Enhancement, for example, Enhancement have a Wind Fury Totem, which impacts the whole party members. If you guys remember back in the days, let's say in TBC, if you remember the big old Wind Fury Totems where they used to rotate Shamans in one Shaman per party so they can enhance the players with Wind Fury Totem, that can potentially break or make how the raid are going to be designed, how many classes are going to get designed. So that's something that indeed is very, very interesting, right? So if that's the case, then I might end up playing my Enhancement instead of Elemental, but we'll see. Maybe they're going to add a totem for elementals, because currently we lack a totem, and that's something that is not the greatest, obviously. I wish to see a totem added further the alpha. We're getting also a Primal Strike plus Lightning Shoot. And Lightning Shoot is very, very good, especially for leveling or solo things like Torcast, for example. Mythic Plus could be the case. PvP, that's very cool and unique thing that doesn't cost any mana. It's instant. And it also can generate aggro in a way. So that is something very good that I like to have. Primal Strike is pretty much something that won't benefit us as much. In case can be used as a finisher. Let's say somebody's at like 5% HP and you don't have any you don't want to spend casting 2 seconds Lightning Bolt or Lava Burst, you don't have an instant cast. You might end up just casting a quick Primal Strike. Again, not the greatest thing, probably not going to be useful though. You also have a Flake Tongue Weapon Enchant, which is, I guess, not that relevant when it comes down to being Elemental Shaman, right? Oh, that's for now for spells. Everything else remains the same as it's in BFA. Nothing has changed so far. If there's any other change, I'm going to make another update to that video. But let's talk about talents. Now, there's only one talent that is significantly changed or revamped in a way, and that's going to be Echoing Shock. Now, if you don't know what Echoing Shock is, I'm going to show you right now. Echoing Shock is pretty much, I'm going to TLDR you, every time you cast that Echoing Shock, the next spell you cast is going to get duplicated in a second after the cast. So for example, if I cast a Stormkeeper on a target, after a second, a Stormkeeper is going to get duplicated, is going to cast it again without me casting it. Like, it's like a free overload without me casting that thing. On top of this can be very powerful because it has only 30-second cooldown, and it could work greatly with some other spells. For example, double Lava Burst. I'm not sure, I haven't tested with like let's say a Hex. It could work, for example, with double Hex, which can be very powerful in PvP. It could work also with the Lightning Lasso, which is also very, very powerful in PvP. But I haven't tested a PvP to the extent where I would know currently if that's the case, right? I haven't had a chance to PvP anybody in Alpha yet, but if I do, I'm gonna let you know, guys, how it is. Everything else remains the same, pretty much. For the first throw, we don't know yet what's gonna be the best. My assumption is gonna be Earth and Rage because we don't have Ignatius potential anymore, so Echo of the Elements will be less powerful. Therefore, Earth and Rage might be the case. And then I have to see what is better, Echoing Shock or Aftershock. We're gonna see, and everything else remains the same, guys. This build what I have right now is just a standard leveling build. It's not something that I will play for Mythic Plus or raiding, so keep that in mind. Also, as a suggestion or something that I would like to mention if any of the Blizzard employees is watching, Sky Fury Totem is something that you could potentially add for Elemental just because you have a Wind Fury Totem for Enhancers. This can make or break the class and can make it very powerful if you add that. And I think it's very fair change to add because they have a Wind Fury, we could have a Sky Fury, it could be amazing. Just let me know what you guys think in the comments. And again, I would like to apologize for not being consistent on YouTube. It's been a very rough 2 months for me, a lot of hard work for MDI. We're playing Global Finals versus Method NA that you can watch on YouTube, links in the description. If you guys like what you see, make sure to follow channel, and I stream daily on Twitch. Make sure to check this out. And if this video gets volume, I might make another follow-up enhancer video, but that's going to be the first video of a multiple series that I plan to make. I want to experience all the dungeons on Alpha as Elemental Shaman. I want you guys to see the new build or the new game style. Pretty much the play style of Shaman is going to change rapidly from what it is in BFA to what it's gonna be in Shadowlands. So make sure to stick make sure to stick with me, and hopefully gonna conquer some new records. Anyway, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you around. Peace.